You're looking forward to this? Awesome. I almost didn't make it because my internet went out. I just got back. Let's lighten that a little bit. I like it. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to check on, see what it looks like on YouTube. Make sure it's not too dark for you. Yeah, me too. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to get out of there. So I am watching mine on StreamYard, so I may be a little bit lagged as far as responding back to people because it takes a while to get to register on StreamYard, just to let you know. So we did some jelly printing last week, and I actually have a members video that will be going up on probably Saturday. And then Sunday I will have a live stream for Blooming Artists at 1:00 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So look for that if you're in the Blooming Artists. And the video is for budding artists and blooming artists. So look for that on Saturday. I'll try and get that up first thing in the morning. And it's all about taking those ugly jelly prints that you have probably in your drawer somewhere. I know I've got a bunch of them. And making them into beautiful art by just doing a few simple things that anyone can do. So hope you'll look at that video and see what you can make out of your jelly print mishaps. All right. Now I did get a little bit of happy mail. I don't know if Sandra's here yet, but I'll show that in a bit. And I decided it is apple season here in Ontario, Canada. This is a very big apple growing area. And I saw this on Pinterest. There was no author, photographer, name, nothing. So whoever this was, thank you very much. And we're going to draw, I drew it out. So you can either draw it, or if you're in the membership, I already have a downloadable printable for you, and you can print that out, and it's for all 3 levels. So check that out, and you can download it and paint along with me, or you can just watch this through the entirety, and then you can go back and stop and pause and whatever, and paint along with me that way. It's up to you. A lot of people like to do that because then they can kind of see the whole process and then go back and start because you know what's to be expected. So I also found these, and I thought, well, not everyone likes just plain old green apples. So if you want to put some nice bit of red on, this is also a really good way of changing the looks of your apples. So see if you can find a download of nice apples. I might put some of these in here. I'm not sure. We'll see how I feel about it. But we're going to be doing it on this piece of file folder. I'm just gonna do you want to? You may want to see this, so maybe I'll just leave this here so you can view it. I'm going to put these other ones over here because we don't really need those. And I'm going to protect the edge of my other painting here by just putting down, this is just deli wrap. And I'm just going to glue it. You could use wax paper if you want. I just want to keep it so that it doesn't go over onto my other page. So how many other people have a huge apple season around their area? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put a layer of gesso on this and dry it. Is this acrylic paint? Yes, it is acrylic paint. I put the gesso on because with paper product, or if you have a canvas that doesn't have a whole lot of gesso on it, it tends to cause your paint and your brush to drag, as they put it, and you don't want that. I just got paint on my... I should get my apron out, is what I should do. I've been saying that for a long time now, and I never do it. I gotta find them. I had a whole slew of aprons when I had the store, stained glass store, and I'm not sure where I put them. I know I kept some. I think that's what I'll look for when I'm done this. See if I can find those. So what do you like to paint on? Do you prefer doing paper first, or you just go right for it and paint on a canvas without practicing first? What do you do? I like doing canvas, but I don't do it unless it's for my wall or commission. But I do like to paint, so this is why I use the file folders, because they're very sturdy. They don't buckle or warp. All right, so let's heat that up. Heat gun, dry it. What brand do you use usually? Of what? Paint? Paint. When I'm working in file folders or art journals, I typically use craft paint, or if I can find an artist grade flat paint, I'll use that. I don't want anything that's got a sheen or a gloss to it, mainly because when you close your pages together, if it's got a shiny, glossy finish, it tends to stick together and can pull your paint off your pages or rip them. So I like to use just Americana, any of those craft paints, or depending on where you are, we have in Canada, we have Desars. It's a art store, and they have a really awesome gouache paint here, an acrylic gouache paint that's very economical. And this is what it is. And you can buy it in this form here is almost 8.5 fluid ounces. And this bottle was $7. Or you can buy a, I think it's 1 liter. Also comes in this size, or a 1 liter. And the 1 liter is $19. So very economical. You live in Vancouver, also you could get Desars. And this is very flat gouache paint, and it's very opaque also. So I find that some of the craft paints are getting a little bit on the pricey side for the size you can get. I think they're 2-ounce bottles, and they're almost going up to, depending on where you are, anywhere from $2.50 to $5. I've seen them. That's ridiculous for 2 ounces. So I like these as a substitute of your craft paint. Now, if you're wanting every color in the rainbow, they do not have all of the colors. I think they have 24 or 36. I can't remember. But if you're gonna use this, then why not use just your basic colors? So cadmium yellow medium, a primary blue, or a cayenne blue would do, a red, cad red, white, black, maybe a magenta. And you should be able to paint whatever you want out of those colors, those 5 colors. And it's a great way of learning your color wheel. They do have, you could get the 36, and that would do perfectly well for any other color you wanted to make. Hey, Lori. How do you like? The quality is great. I really like it. Where's my book? We actually did a gouache video. Right here. So this one here, that's the gouache. So I did a black line, and you can't see that line in pretty well even the black, the red is fairly opaque. So you can see a little bit, but it's pretty darn good compared to the expensive ones. So this is Holbein. So you can still see. So they're very comparative to any of the other ones. And well, let's just do a little comparison of craft paint. So I got a blue. Let's see. I get a blue, a red, and a yellow out. Yellow below. Okay. So there's Americana. So this is cad yellow. I'll just put it on this. It's almost done anyways. And I'll get a smaller brush. Okay. So cad yellow, Yellows are always a little bit on the opaque or transparent side. So there's your yellow. I'll bring you in a little bit so you can see what we're doing here. Hey, Devin. Then a little bit of red. Make sure you shake your bottles before you use them, though. A little bit of red. And red is also a fairly transparent color. This one is quite transparent, even if you put it on thick. So there's the red in the gouache paint. So it's actually quite a bit more opaque. And this is blue. This is primary blue. So here's the blue. So actually, this is the acrylic gouache. So the acrylic gouache is actually a lot more opaque than your regular craft paint. And the other reason I like using craft paint or this new acrylic gouache is that you can use colored pencil on top or even pastel because it has a tooth. And it's not going to stick. Your pages will not stick together with using that. All right. So I hope that helped. Oh gosh. And also when you're putting a gesso on, if you like, I just splattered some paint on it and it picked it right up because it's acts as a resist a little bit. So you have time to fix anything that either you decided you didn't like or you accidentally smudged it somewhere. I ordered some of the Jane Davenport layered cakes that Z has. Apparently they are a watercolor gouache like paint. Ah, okay. You'll have to let me know how they are. Devin, you could get these. And this bottle is $7 from Dessars. And I really like them. Like I showed you, they're very opaque. They're very matte and economical. So you can also get the large one. So they come in this size. And they come in this size. So I got the big white one. Oh, 2 liters. This one's 2 liters. So 2 liters. This was on sale for $19. Now, every time I look on their site, it's on sale. So for how long, I don't know. So a lot more product for your money. And I'm all about that and quality. I won't buy something that's inexpensive if the quality isn't good enough. All right, so this is what we're going to be doing. Already, Lori and Yolanda, if you want to do this, it's in the community page or on the Patreon page for download. So I'll probably just leave this right. I'll come out a little bit. So get the full. Maybe turn my camera just a smidgen. Like that. Is that good? Or do you want to see my palette? Although I can always hold this too. All right. So I'm going to stick to the colors that are on this. I might change maybe one or two of the apples into a red apple, just to show you the difference. So it's kind of there's a little bit of blue in that background behind the leaves here. And then it's sitting on looks like a piece of burlap. So we can probably, depending on how long this takes, we could either put a piece of actual burlap on, although it might be kind of difficult to do these apples then, or a stamp that looks similar to burlap, or a napkin. If you have a napkin that kind of resembles burlap, you could do that. You could even take a photograph of or a scan of burlap and then print it on tissue. That would work. So right now, I'm going to do this one a little bit different. Most of the time I paint out the whole thing and then start from the back and work my way forward. Some people were wondering if they had to do that, if it would be easier just to paint around stuff. So I thought I would try that today to show you how you'd go about doing that. Some people like to paint that way. It's totally a preference thing. So the background is going to be kind of a bluish color, and I'm going to just use, let's see, I've got a little bit of stuff here. Let's get a little bit cleaner. Yeah, this one here. So you can see what I have on my plate instead of a mess. And I'm going to work with, that's pretty fluffy. I like working with flats, and see, might use that one. If you have filbert, those are nice to work with also. So filbert, it has the rounded top. It's a flat but with a round top. Okay, this is just one of the flat plaid one-stroke Donna Downey ones. I like her stuff. They just have the right amount of spring to them. Okay, so I'm just going to use, instead of white, I'm going to use this gesso. You can use gesso for white. I follow you, good girl, love all that you do. Hey, Dar. Thanks. We're going to put a little bit of this primary blue. May as well use it up. And we're just going to concentrate on the background right now. So most of it's pretty much white. It's all so light blue. So it doesn't take much to blue up that, if you saw how much blue I put in there. So I have a little bit more of the blue color. Oh, actually, no, that was dumb. I totally lost a step. I have to put this on my page. So I'm gonna get my I need some transfer paper. Got all excited and then totally forgot. Transfer paper, where are you? No, that's not good enough. I'll have to get another piece, I guess. I keep losing them. Scissors. I like this paper, transfer paper, because it's erasable. And it doesn't contain any wax. A lot of tracing papers have a wax in them, and they're very difficult to remove afterwards. So you want to keep them in place by taping them down a little bit, because there are times when you're going to have to go back and reposition something that you painted over or missed something. That's no good anymore. I'm just going to keep it over here. All right, and then I like to use a pen of a different color. So let's see if I can find a white or a blue or red so I can see where I've traced. And if you're watching the, actually I'll put it there. If you're watching the rerun or recording, just you can just use that bar on the bottom and go by this section if you don't want to watch. All right, now because of my printer, it didn't print past this, so if you want to have a border, you could just do it exactly how I have it here, or if you want to continue the circle, you can do that too. I'm just let's see, yeah, I'm going to continue the circle. Now I would have had this part done, but my internet went down and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I was a little behind. Almost didn't make it on. I don't know why it went down, but it did. I like the leaves when they're just starting to wither and they're all kind of got bug holes in them or little bits of dying off. I think they have more character. You can change this up too if you decide maybe you don't want as many leaves in there. These are just suggestions, these drawings. If you want to add more, you could add more. Change it up. Make it your own. It doesn't have to stay like this. Let's see. I have that one. Well, this one is a real messed up leaf. It's all broken and shredded. That's part of the basket. Up there. That. This is part of a gnarly old leaf. And it's kind of going off to the side there. I haven't decided how I'm going to do that burlap. We could draw it in with Poscas. It might take a little while to do. Or we could find something else. It doesn't have to be burlap. You could find a napkin that has, say, checkerboard on it and put it down there. And then paint over top of it. So put that down first if you're going to do that before you start doing the apples and stuff. What would you like to see me do? So I'll try all kinds of stuff. Just depends on what you want to see. What do you want to learn? Is the end of us in US of A, end of season. I like bugs, the veins and the leaves. A bug is interesting. Yeah. Hey, Lena. Good to see you. Loved your book that you've been showing. We have a bunch of streamers here. Lori, Pink Girly is one. Devin Rex is another. Lena, Miss Linux 2010 is another. We all have channels, and we all do different things. It's a very multi-faceted community, which is cool because there's so much to learn, and you're able to incorporate it in so many different types of art. That's what I like about it. It doesn't have to be just watercolor or acrylic painting. It can be all kinds of things. That's a leaf there. And we all love to inspire each other. We get excited, and we just think, oh, people have to try this. This is so cool. that's in. And we got these. That. And then I'm going to leave this for now. I'll put that in later. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully it came out perfect. All right. So what I'm going to do, in case I have to redo anything, I'm not going to take the tape off of here, but I could take it off of there. And then I'm going to just turn it, and that way if I have to do something else on there, I can just flip it back over and it's in the spot that I need. I am a YouTube hop host. Yes, the PM Studios, yeah. It's another one that they're just new. If you like stencils, that type of thing. All right, so can you see well enough? So we're gonna start with the blue. So I have my blue here. I just use pellets from lids of coffee because then I can peel them up. I'm about saving money. I love to save money when I can. So now we can put our and because it's a fairly light area, I'm just gonna kind of paint it mostly in this color, and then I can just put a few dabs and dashes in to make it a little more interesting. Now I can see through my paint here, so I'm not too worried about going over top of any of these leaves here because I can still see those lines. You can take more time and go around each piece carefully. It's up to you. Again, I'm working from the back again, the back to the front of my painting. So when I do my leaves and that type of thing that's on top of the background, then I can be a little bit more careful. Now, if this paint was really, really opaque, then I probably would be a little bit more cautious about covering the lines. But again, I still have my traceable. So if I get lost because of hidden lines or painted over areas, I can just lay that back down and trace that area that I'm having trouble with. Okay, that's a leaf. So put paint in there. And if you wanted to, instead of doing this type of background, you could actually use one of your jelly prints for this. Or a piece of scrapbook paper. There's so many different scrapbook papers. I do use a lot of them in a lot of my paintings as the backgrounds. It's already done for you. All you have to do is put a coat of clear gesso on top of it before you put your pattern down, and then it's good to go. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the side here, and I think it's going to be more or less a border. I'm not going to take the leaves and everything to the side. I might put some writing on there. Okay, where else? That's the end. Yeah, that's part of the, yep, right there. And then right about in here, actually further up, right about here. So this part could be painted a different color. Now, I could put a little bit more blue in this. And this area right in here, it's going to be a little darker because it's closer to the table or whatever that's in there. So I'm just going to paint that up a little bit, give it a little more interest. You probably don't need a lot of pattern back there because the apples and basket are probably going to take the show. But using my painted and stenciled file folder, didn't do gesso. Yeah, that's fine, Lori. That's awesome. As long as it's been painted before, that's fine. As usual, background is last, not today. Thank you, Kathy. It's not my favorite to do last. All right. Splatters there. Now, let's do this, the wood. Now, kind of looks a little bit on the rosy side. This could be my color from the printer too. Usually they're more on a golden color. This could be maple, maybe. Maple tends to be a little bit on the reddish side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the lightest color that I have in this. And I'm going to make up. So I'm going to get some more yellow. This yellow is almost gone. So okay, we have that. We have some bittersweet chocolate. And this one is opaque yellow. It's some bittersweet chocolate. Now, the only thing with craft paint, when mixing them to make a color, is you don't know what colors they've used in these. So it could turn a little more green. It could turn a little bit on the orange side. It's hard to tell right away. So kind of have to play with them a little bit. But that's also can be fun. So let's take some yellow here. And just going to put a little bit of that brown in there. See what color we get. So it's going a little on the green side. So what do we do? All right, I put that. I want to take a little bit of red. And that'll turn it more onto the goldy side. You take a little bit of white, lighten it up. A little bit more red to it. All right. Maybe a little more, just a smidge more white. Don't want it too dark right off the bat. Okay. Paper towel. Almost done these. Just gonna squeeze out that paint with my brush. Now I'm just gonna, as you can see here, I'm not too worried about shadows right now. I just want to put in the base coat. So I'm going to paint around some of these leaves where the holes are. Put a little bit darker area around here because it would be shadow anyway, so I'll just add a little bit of darkness to it. I'm not worried if I go over the line on the leaves. Oop. Got some. Well, we'll play with it. Why not? Sometimes accidents work in your favor. You can always paint over this. That's the nice thing about acrylics, is you can always just add some more paint over top of it if it's not what you want. Didn't have quite enough. Red. White. It's a little more green. A little bit more red. A little more white. I kind of like that color actually. I'm going to go over top of this. Why not? And it's wood, so a lot of times your wood looks rough anyways, especially in farm baskets like this, apple baskets. They're usually pretty rough sawn stuff. So I wouldn't worry too much about having it all nice and even. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush just to get in those tight areas. Okay, in here. That is part of the wood too here. I have to go. I have a friend coming for a craft date. Awesome. Have fun, Devin. That's so great. Wish I had a in-person craft date. But I enjoy being with you guys online. It's the best next thing. Can't have everything, right? You too, Lori? Yeah. Okay, so it's fairly dark in here, so I could actually add quite a bit of brown now to this. I have my initial color. So let's put quite a bit right in here. There's some really dark areas right in there. So I don't know if anyone that just came in, I'm just doing this a little different than I normally would. Because I know there was some people that have seen other artists do paintings, but they don't put the background fully in and then put their drawing on top. They kind of paint around things. So I thought, let's try that. Some people like painting that way. Everybody's different. So you just kind of have to play along and see what works for you. Let's see, that one is actually green in there. It's dark. It's fairly dark in there. So I'm just going to go there. See how it's dark in there? So let's put some of that in there. Even though that's not part of the basket, sorry. It is dark in there. And there's a hole there, and there. Just kind of, it's always good to try different ways of painting. Just to see what works for you. You never know. That's part of the leaf. That's part of the leaf. And I think I missed, yes, I did. I missed an area right here. So we'll just put that in there. That. And there's a leaf, but I didn't put it in. But I'm going to probably, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to make that a glaze. So that'd be easier. That's part of a leaf. Okay, let's do a little bit up here. Just adding a little bit more. And we'll paint in this area here. This is the rim of the basket. I don't know if you've noticed, but I painted in the direction that the green would be going also. Just saves you a little bit of time in showing the green. If you paint in that direction, it gives you a little bit of texture. This one is a little bit darker right in here. So try and keep it in the same direction as how it's going. Like that. There's apples all in here, so you're not seeing a whole lot of other. There is a little dark spot in there, though. I missed that. And then take some more of this color. Just on the very top here, it's a little lighter. That. Hey, Jane. I'm going to paint along, trying to use my own intents that I have with my sketch and see what I can do. Take advantage of my awesome, Jane. Love to see it when it's done. Paint with Kathy Arbor on Instagram. if you want. There's no I just like seeing how you guys are inspired because it inspires me. There's a little bit of a lighter area there. Let's see. I'm gonna make this even lighter. That your negative painting now, painting around your, yes. Yeah. All right, so we have these kind of grain to your wood. So it's a little bit on the, a little bit more red to it. So let's add some red to this. Okay, so it's a little bit on the red side. And what I like to use when I'm doing grain is a stiffer brush. So I have some bristle brushes here. They're pretty stiff. If they're fuzzy, that's even better. So keep your old ones. And I didn't put it in water. And then what you can do is go in the direction that it's running. And just lightly. There's a little bit of a darker edge underneath this lip that you can put in. Just here and there, not the whole thing, but wherever you're seeing it in the photo there. Like that. little darker right around here. The edge. Like that. Now it's not the exact same color as this, but a little bit more in here. And then there's some rough areas also, so we'll just tap some of those areas. This is like a staple that's rusted. And then we can drag down some more. You could also take a fairly stiff brush, like a fan brush, and use that. Dogs are finding their way down. If you hear anything, that's them. Little stinkers. So dry brushing. It's all process. This one is the bottom of the basket there. Actually, I'm going to put more leaves in here. A little bit darker on the bottom part too. And a little in. Just keep adding. And then in here is very dark, so like that. Okay. So that's just the start. Okay, so now you can take a small brush. This is a script brush. It's a little shorter though. And we're going to add just this, I think, what was this called again? Bitter chocolate. And we're going to do a little bit of line work here and there. So we have these cracks in the so we can put those in. You can make them as detailed as you want. And there's a wider opening right here. That. And then right about here. And that kind of lightly goes down. That. Just see bits of it. Doesn't have to be real thick. And then this staple right there. And before that gets too dry, what you can do is take your brush and swipe it back and forth. Let's see. Okay. And then we have, looks like there's a bit of a mark in here. Like that. The staples, I guess, would be there. And then there's a little bit of a darker rim going around here. Like this. And in here. I think it's, looks like it's layered. This is dark. There. And another one in here. Like that. This is fairly dark in here. And I'm just going to put some lines. And then just take your brush to soften them if they're too hard. And it just takes the edge off of them. I'm going to put a little bit under here. Like that. And then just take my brush, swipe it a bit. Just to smooth it out a little bit. Like that. Okay, we'll leave that for now. I think that's good for now. And we'll do the apples. Although this does need to be a little bit darker right under here. Just like that. And this one, a little bit here. Okay. All right, we'll let that be. We'll come back to it. I want to do some of these apples. So, or should we do the leaves? Which do you want to do first? Leaves or apples? I'm get another palette. Put this aside for now. I'm going to get some green. want a fairly bright green. I'm going to get Hussar green, dark green. And maybe add a little yellow to it. It's perfect green though for these leaves. And then some yellow. I have yellow over here. I'll just use this up. Put that over here. And no preference. Okay, we'll do the leaves then, I think. I just added a little bit of green to that yellow. And that's a really nice green for this here. The main color though we want is more, a little bit lighter. So I'm going to add a little more yellow to that. That should do. And now we're going to just start up here. And actually, I'm going to take my smaller brush because there's a little more detail to do. And now we can paint in the base coat of these. Now, when you're doing it this way, because there's many leaves overlapping each other, it's best to change up the color a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of light green in here with some white. So let's take this green. Because you can get lost in this too very easily, or you might just end up losing your color too. So let's concentrate on one leaf at a time. So this one up here is fairly dark right in here. So let's do this one. And the one behind it is fairly dark too. Now I kind of extended it a little bit. It's not the same as the print. Okay. So to define those, we need to put a little bit of the lighter color in now. So it has an edge to it. So we can take our light color just along the edge here. There was a little bit of a highlight. And then there's a little bit of highlights in here too. So while it's wet, you're kind of seeing veining a little bit. And I'm just gonna a little bit of artistic license and just add a little bit of color in these ones there. And you can kind of see some modeling going on of the leaf. So this is all kind of blending on top of the substrate. Instead of on your palette. This one here, these over here, they're much lighter, so we can add quite a bit of white to that mix. They almost have a blue tinge to them too. So I'm just going to base coat these guys in. Like so. Any questions? Thanks, Lena. I'm kind of going in the direction of the way the veining would be. Just to get a little bit of texture onto my picture. It's where you can do multitasking as far as adding texture and painting at the same time. You use well. Because I know I'm going to go over top of these again. So these are all basically the same color. A little bit more white. And use the right size brush that's for the right area you're doing. Meaning if you've got real small areas to paint, don't use a big brush. It'll be very frustrating for you. I know a lot of artists say, oh, use the biggest brush you got. That's fine for somebody that is experienced and have painted a long time. But I prefer using smaller brushes in smaller areas. But you do you, as they say. Do what feels right for you. Everybody's different. There's no one way of doing a painting. There's many styles, there's many techniques. Just have to play with it till you find what's yours. Like I still play with different techniques from different artists to see what is it that they like about it. Was it an easier way of doing something, or did it give a certain effect? Just have to try it out, and don't just do it once. Sometimes you need to do a whole series of studies before you understand what they're doing. So it's, think of it as when you're learning art. If, say, you wanted to learn music, would you expect to instantly play Beethoven without any practice? No. Same applies with art. You need to practice. I have too many, but why not just pick up a brush and paint? Great brush tip. I tend to use too big a brush. It's yeah, you can dar, but that's a style preference too. It depends what you like. If you're comfortable with using a big brush, then do it. I'm just saying it's for somebody that is a little unsure about their painting abilities or just learning, or maybe you're more of a realistic painter. They don't use big brushes. So it's really a preference thing. I just find it much easier, less cumbersome. Like I wouldn't use a huge brush to try and use the corner of it to paint around all these little areas. It just doesn't seem right to me anyways. And it's a thing that you need to find out what you like. Like everyone does things differently. You just have to find your comfort level and what you're willing to do. Maybe later on you'll try it. And this is a very small area to be painting too. If you're using a huge canvas, then yeah, I would use a big brush too. But not, you don't want to do a big brush and try and put someone's eyelashes on. It's just common sense. Details that a lot of people want easier with small brush. I did a set of faces using only a palette knife as an experiment. Yeah, and it gave you a different look, a different effect. So it's all in preference. What do you want to accomplish with it? Do you want that more impressionistic look? Then yeah, a big brush would work. That's just me. It's just how I've always painted. So, like everyone says, you got to figure out what's the best for you. But don't stick to one thing, one way of doing it because somebody said to. Try it out. Play with things. Experiment. Do studies. That's how you learn. That's how you grow as an artist. We never stop learning. We always find new inspiration from different artists. We see different types of paintings, new styles that come out. We're always learning. Especially nowadays, it's not like the way back 200 years ago where there was a organization that said, oh no, you had to do your paintings a certain way or you were not recognized. It's not like that anymore. There's so much freedom on how to create, to make different art. Not everyone's going to agree with it, but that's the beauty art too. There's so many different views that people have, and likes and dislikes. It's a huge, vast selection that you have now. But I think a lot of people kind of know what they like by what they have on their walls, or what they tend to gravitate towards when they're looking at, say, Pinterest. Say you go on Pinterest. What are you looking at? What do you stop and look at? That'll give you an indication of what you're gravitating towards. Some people, and also ask yourself, why did I stop and look at this? Is it the color? Was it the composition? What do I like about this? Even take a picture of it, print it off, and put it in your sketchbook and analyze it. It is so cool to do that. You learn a lot about yourself when you do stuff like that. And then it's more true to yourself. Then you're not being influenced by an artist saying this is the new thing and everyone should be doing it. If you're looking at something, then that's probably your style. That's probably what you should be focusing on a little more. Master that thing that you're attracted to first, then venture out and do other things, because you'll have the confidence, because that's something you like. And when you have something you really, really enjoy doing and you're attracted to, you're more likely to spend more time doing it. Am I getting as a teacher voice on? Did I lose a bunch of people? I just get passionate about finding your own. After you learn about how paint works, how to use it, and then you start trying to find your style. There's so many steps to art, to finding your own way of doing things without being influenced by social media. I think I will. Thanks for the idea. It's fun. You should try. I gotta study the planes of a face and understood how the light hits. Yeah, details that a lot of people want easier. Yeah, that's awesome, Jane. So you're studying the face and the planes of the face, and that's how you learn form and shadows, and you understand muscle structure when you do that. And oh, thanks. I can go crazy sometimes. If I'm going overboard, just email me. I get passionate about stuff like that. I love to get people inspired and try things. Well, because I have found that art is so relaxing, so you get out of your head when you do art. You forget about all the worries of the world, and it's de-stressing. It lowers your blood pressure. There's so many things good about it. Let's see, this one goes like that. And it doesn't have to be a painting every time. Drawing. Do some drawing. Don't show it to anybody. Keep it in a journal. That's what I always say. Never show when you're first starting out, don't show your stuff. Not even to your spouse. Keep it to yourself. Keep drawing. Because there's nothing worse than being very proud of something that you've done, and you can see your progress, and you understand that you made advances in what you're drawing, and then you of course you want recognition. Everybody does. But then you go and show it to a family member, and they kind of put their lip up and don't even really say anything. What a downer. And that kind of puts off so many people, and then they kind of, I guess it wasn't as good as I thought it was. And the critic comes out, eh? No, well, I guess I'll give up on this one too. Using a knife freed me from the expectation of perfection. Also, yeah, it gave you confidence, Jane. That's fantastic. And I'm glad you recognize that, because we have to build our confidence up. That is I think one of the biggest things about art and people learning art is they get so discouraged so easily. So when you can find something that it doesn't have to be perfection, but it looks really cool and you love it and you're getting positive reactions with it. And when you feel confident about doing stuff, you want to do more. When you reach my age, I'm into breaking the rules, though. I didn't learn the rules. Yeah, of course you do. Same way, Liz. I went to art school, and I don't know how old you are, but I'm almost 65 now, so I've been doing art for over 40 years. But you do have to learn what things do before you can break the rules, because you have to learn to be able to see ahead of you when you're painting. So when you're doing something that later on you can add this or take away that. But when you haven't done it before, you don't know those things. So you're only living in the now. But when you have experience, you know what to expect. I don't know if that makes sense. All right, so I got them all basically. They're a little bit different colors. So now we can go in and add the darks and a little bit of lights and maybe a little blue. We have some of these darks here. Let's start off up here. So we have a little bit of an overlap. So we have a little bit of darker shading along the edge here. Doesn't have to be perfect. My paint's starting to dry out a little bit. And a little bit in here, I think. And I'm just mixing as I go. Okay, this one has a little bit of dark. It's not exactly like the picture, but that's fine. So we'll just put a little bit of dark in there. Kind of a wrinkle in the leaf right there where that hole is. And don't forget about shading. A little bit water. So there's a little bit of a shadow in this one here. Right in there. Like that. While it's still wet, I can just take my brush, a wet brush, and just soften the edges a little bit. Yeah. Practice, practice, practice. I know. Well, practice what you love, right? I'm not going to get, this one's going to be kind of impressionistic, I guess, because I'm not going to put a lot of detail in this one. So I want you guys to play with things. And I'm saying play because it's fun. I know I've gotten comments before that, why do you say play? Because it's fun. Why does it have to be, you know, so serious? Okay, this would be a little darker in here. That. We can put little bits and pieces of areas that are starting to decay too. You see a little bit of veining in here. Not much, but a little bit. Just put a little bit in there. Artistic license too, if you find that you want to change something, go ahead and do it. Okay, and then this one here, it's got a bunch of dark shadows. a little bit of a highlight on the top of that, so I won't make all of that. This is kind of dark in here. Well, a few dark areas, little patchy marks from bug eating it or whatever. Just using the tip of my brush. That's right. Sure ain't work. That's right. So true. This one has quite a bit of dark in here. It's kind of got a shadow from the other leaf right in here. Now you could take a long time and do every single little mark if you wanted to. But it's not a good thing to do on string. So it would take days. And those kind of videos don't go very well. People get tired of them. They're not going to watch them. Spending hours and hours and hours. This one's got quite a bit of dark on it too. Again, it's just the shadow. Right under here. I think this needs to be even darker. Right in here. Pretty dark there. In the shadow. We'll add a little bit of highlight in some of these too. This one here. It's kind of buggy looking. Starting to fall apart. Now here is pretty dark. A little bit of water. So what kind of acrylic painting do you like? If you're just watching this on the rerun, let me know in chat or in comments. interesting to see what people like and why do you like it? Is it the look? Is it because it's easier to do? Also, if, say, you woke up and you had miraculously developed this fantastic ability to paint anything you wanted, what would it be? I'm going to put a little bit of blue in this. And then I'm going to just kind of dry brush a few of these areas in here. Just a smidgen. Just changing this up. A little bit of white. More white. I recently began to like acrylic. I paint smooth but not thin, artist grade, and matte. Oh, cool. Yeah, I love matte paints. I'll do acrylic, like our artist grade, like golden or something like that for my commissions, but I really like matte. Let's see. Just putting a little bit of highlights on here and there. So this one, a little bit more green in here. Right along there. This one here. I think I need a little bit more white. I can show you my bottle on my next screen. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Show me it. Well, you guys, you can get Schmicky for a fairly reasonable price too there. See, stuff that you can't get there, we get here really cheap. It's funny. See, Schminky is very expensive here. I don't know if I can even get it in Canada. If I come to think of it, I don't think I've seen it. We'll have to look. Curry's might. I don't think I saw it in Desires or any of those areas. Okay, those are too wet. there. All right, so the stems are kind of a purpley brown. So if we take a little bit of this brown here, don't need a whole lot, and some blue, and some red. I like this purpley brown. And then just add a little bit of white to the corner there. You'll see. Now I'm just gonna take the darker color first. This is a fairly flat brush. Make sure there's not too much water in your brush. And then wherever you need to put those different stems. Like so. This one right there. Don't see, there's, well, I'll use those for the, might need to use my script liner for some of these. They're pretty narrow. But give it a try. Apple's branches are kind of grayish color, a little on the purpley side. And then I'm going to take my script liner again. Where is it? And just put, there's a little bit of line that goes up in the leaf. Some of them you see a little bit more than others. And play with it. A little darker, I think. Very dark in here. And kind of a hit and miss. I think these can be done so many different ways, depending on how much detail you want on them too. You could take colored pencil also. That would be cool. Put your little blotchy marks. I think they're more, looks almost on the burgundy side though. The little blotches that I'm seeing. But again, it's artistic license. Do change it up if you want. Get a wonky hair on there. Put this over here. This one's got some marks on it. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of more red to this. And brown, smidgen of brown. Just to darken that up, that's better. And then I'm just going to put some blobs. Areas that I can lighten some areas too. Let's get a little bit of character. See. I'll add a little bit of highlights to some of these too. Some of them are a little more on the brown side, but you can start off with this color. Add as many as you want. That might be why I feel like I'm the only one using it. Well, if it's great stuff, why not? All right, so a little white with that. And more brown. And then just lighten a few of the areas. Not all of them, but a few. And then a little yellow. That. Some of them are more on the brown side, so I'm gonna have to just play with it. I'm gonna put a little bit of this gold on here. Change this up. It's a little too common. And just a little bit of dabbing on the top part. I think I need a little bit more where is it? There it is. Bluish. So I made a little bit of a more of a bluey green. So I think I needed just a smidgen more lighter. Could be even lighter than that. Yeah. Just want a little bit highlights on there. Right in here. There. There. All right, so let's do these apples. So we can start off with a medium green. So I'm going to get a little, yeah, I guess I could use this. I'll use this. So I want this yellow, green, I'm just going to add some white over here. Make this nice apple green. I want it fairly light to start with. And I guess we'll start off with this one here. So I'm just going to fill in this whole area. I forgot to put the stem in that one. See, you forget. And this one here. So let's just do the main apples first. I can still see the stems, so I'm not too worried about that. Might have to make a bit more. So let's a bit of yellow, blue, and white. It's a little bit lighter. This one can be a little darker. Okay, that one's just a bit, but that's fine. They're not all the same. So we'll let them dry. This one up here, I'm just going to take my smaller brush. And this one actually can be a little bit on the goldy side. So I've got a little bit green gold here, just because they're down underneath these top apples. So they're hiding underneath there. A little bit darker. That one's even darker, so I could, we'll paint it this way, I guess. I'll have to darken it a little bit more. All right, and now we can use this green right in here. So there is a, I forgot to put that in, the stem. So it's about right there, I guess. Like that. And then I can put a little bit of green on top of there. There's actually a little bit of blue in there too. And then right there. Ooh, too much water in my brush. And just going around this part of the apple where the stem would be. I'll leave that. This one here, a little bit of blue. in the center. Not a lot, but there is a little bit of blue in there. And then the green on top. And then this darker color just along the edge. And then there's kind of a dark area, so let's get a little bit more of that brown right in here. That's still wet. Can't play with it when it's wet. This one here. There's a little bit of green coming up. Actually, let's make that a little lighter. Change this up a little bit. A little bit of blue. And light green there. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit more green. And some of this brown. Going to gray it down a little bit. Right in here, it's shadowed. I'm going to take my bigger brush here. More or less just doing a light coat, a glazing. So I'm going to take just the side of my brush, put some paint on it. There's a little bit and then a little bit of this lighter color. And just want to put along the edge here, over top of what I just did. Could be a little more yellow in it, I think. So white. One more white. I want it fairly light. Yeah. So it's not white, but it's more on the yellowy side. Just dabbing. And you can may as well use that same mix for these areas. So a little bit of a ring. Kind of dry brushed. So you get streaking going into the center. You could use a blender for this too. A little lighter right there. A little bit light in here. You don't see much of this part of the apple, so you don't have to worry too much about that one. A little bit of water on my brush. I want to pick up some of this darker color here. Just shade around here. A little bit more. Off the darken there. A little darker. Spots. Better get another palette out. That one's no good either. I need a spot where I can swipe. Okay. A little bit of green. Darker. Need that green to be more olivey. So let's make a little bit of red with that green. There. Okay. That one's kind of wonky. I'll probably have to let that dry before I can finish that one. Let that dry. And a little bit of yellow. On my brush. And it's kind of a back and forth thing. Where did I put that? Oh, there it is. Oh well. Just have to play with it. Add a little, take a little away. Till you get it right. You have to make sure you just go in the right direction of how the apple is. So you have to pay attention. This one has a little bit more going down there because it's facing us a little more there. Okay. This one, it's highlights right around there. And let's see. A little bit more water on my brush. Kind of dry brushing towards the center where that stem would be. A little bit more yellow on this side. Water. And some of that green, pull it back into the white. So it's a give and take, basically. And a little bit of green in there. It's actually a brilliant green, but I don't think I can make it that bright. Let's see. Right in there. Need more yellow. Like that. And then the brown is in the center. And there's a little bit of that here and there. Get some. Let's see. Guess I'm losing everybody. This is really something I would probably do on my Patreon, but I felt like doing it today, so that's what I did. A little bit more white in the center. A little bit in here. You're still here. Thank you. I know it's a long process. This is when I think it would be better if I did videos instead of this type of. I know some of you enjoy it, but a lot of people, it doesn't get the best views because of the time it takes. But I know I keep saying I'm going to do more videos, but I hate editing. All right, there. And this one needs a little bit more in here. Oop. I'll take some white over here. Real highlight there. And I'm going to put a little highlight right in there. And this one needs a little bit more now. Just a smidge. That was a little bit much. And I'm just going to put a little bit there. Artistic license, so to speak. Okay, and now I want to put the stems in. Let's see. Kind of that gray color. So I had the brown, a little of the blue, and the red. More brown. Put a little yellow with that too. Very dark color. I'm going to put a little bit more yellow in one area. Let's see. What would we do without artistic license? I know, right, Jean? Saves you. It does. This one here, don't really see a lot. I think I might put actually a little bit more green in there. Let's see. Red. Yellow. There. And then a little bit of brown, just right in the center here. Darken it. All right, now I can take this color. Right into there. And this one up here is a little bit lighter. So I'm actually gonna just use some of this brown and yellow together. It's kind of a browny color actually. That. Okay, we're almost there. We just have to do the bottom part here. So bottom part, I am going to do a fairly dark color, maybe even that brown that I made up. may as well. And then we'll put something over top. I'm just painting around the apples. Yeah, this one's going to be a longer video than normal, that's for sure. And then what I'm going to do is paint with either a paint marker, or I could use actually colored pencil too. Not worried about the difference as far as the color differences, because the paint marker is going to be lighter. I do want it to be a little bit on the dark side though, for the paint marker to show up. Now it would be darker around the apples. So I'm thinking it'd probably be, let's see, here's a little bit up there. It goes up there, but it's kind of blurred out. So I'm just going to kind of do the same thing. So blur it out. Like that. Okay, now I'm going to dry it. I posted on a, oh great. I'll look at it as soon as I'm done here. Okay, while that's finished drying, I'm going to color in here too, because that needs it. Very dark in there. Maybe we'll use this color. It's a real nice dark color in here. And even underneath here. It gets very dark. So just more or less a glaze that I'm doing here. It's going to have to be darker though, right in here. It's very dark. Right near the bottom. And then over here. Up. And in here. That. I'm just getting into the little areas where it's real dark there. It's actually more on the green side there. A little bit in here too, a little bit on the green side. Okay. We can put a little bit of highlight on this here. Do I have some already made up? I don't think so. So I'm just going to take some yellow and some white, a little bit of brown. And just a little bit of highlight. Around the end there. Needs to be a little bit lighter. Right there. And this one here has this little thing on the top. That. And I'm going to put a little bit of highlight also on those stems here and there. There's just a few on here. Actually needs more white. Not a lot, just a bit. Okay. Now, okay, let's take a look. Where's my phone? Let's see what Jane did. Let's see. What did you put it on? Paint with Kathy Arbor? Paint. Posting with hashtag Kathy. Okay, let me see. Hashtag all in capitals. Nope, that's not it. I'm back again. Was it paint with Kathy Arbor or paint just hashtag Kathy? It's like, hashtag Kathy isn't. I don't see it. Paint with Kathy Arbor. Okay. Paint along with Kathy Arbor. Oh, that's why. Paint. Oh, there it is. Yay. Oh, that's awesome. Ah, lighting's not that great. Can you see that? Oh, that's great. I love it, Jane. And those were ink tents. Did an awesome job. I love it. Very good. Thank you so much for painting on and posting this. This is great. It's she gave you the wrong one. It's paint with Kathy Arbor. But I found it. Thank you. Did awesome. Love it. All right. So to spruce this up, to give it a little more, as you can see, I don't need this anymore. See how there's highlights going across and little bumps? And there's also shadows. So that's how you'd make your, it's a lot of work. I don't know if you want me to do it. I might do a little section just so that you can understand it. Let's see. Get a small Posca pen, or actually, I think I'm going to do it in colored pencil. It would look a little better. Okay, so I'll just do a little section here. So here. So you would see the lines. You can just do the lines like this. So depending on if you have wrinkles. And a lot of times the weave is kind of wonky because it's so far apart. It's a very loose weave, so you're not going to have straight lines in so that they're perfect. So sometimes the wonkier is the best. So then you can kind of follow let's say it just stops there. You don't have to do the whole thing. And it comes around like this. Can you see it? And then we'll add lighter areas and darker areas for the shadows. So you have kind of real highlighted areas. So you'd need a white, and maybe this here would be wherever they would be crossing over. There would be a highlight on some of those because they would be catching the light. And also some of these that are going the opposite direction, they would have some, because they're crossing over also. So you don't have to put them all in. If you want to take the time and really study the way it's under, over type of thing, but you don't have to put them all in. you want to put some in just to, it kind of gives you that look. But if you just put a few in just to show it, then your eye will catch what it is and fill in the blanks basically. But you do have to just show a few like that. And then you take a little bit darker, so I would take, even a gray would do. Let's see. More dark brown. There's one there. And you can put, there'd be a bit of a shadow in there under the edge. That. And on some of these that are crossing over, there'd be a bit of a shadow underneath those light areas. So you can just follow those light areas and decide which way. So the ones that are vertical, you put all the shadows on the same side. Same with the horizontal ones. That way it's more cohesive. Looks right then. Don't make them all crazy all over the place, because then it won't make sense. Sure. It's amazing what your eye knows. So I put all the ones vertically, it's on the bottom, and the ones horizontal, or vice versa, is on the other side. But they're all the same. They're not different. And then well, we could put a few in here too. Let's put a few. Wasn't that painful to do? We'll just make it look like it goes underneath these here. Some are really close together, some are wider apart. You don't want to make them straight. And then your shadow. Then don't forget your highlights. Like that. And then your shadows. Vertical one way, horizontal the other. But they're all the same shadow area. Okay. You could even, this is kind of light in here, so I'm just gonna put in a few. Like that. Okay. Then I'm gonna put a little bit more shadow under these apples here. I think there needs to be a little bit more of a shadowed area. I love using colored pencil in this way. You do what you want to do. I guess that's why I'm mixed media. I just love using colored pencil. Put a little bit more in there. Might be a little more shading in some areas, maybe underneath the leaves here. Have a little bit of shadow here, a little bit more. That. And then I'm going to take probably, let's try this. Just a little bit of a highlight. It's a smidgen along here. Not much, but it does make a difference. Put it a little bit on there, on this, and this. Like that. Just a little bit. And a little bit more under here. Just needs to be a little bit darker. All right. A little bit more under here, maybe. There. Do you hear my dog? My son trying to get, they keep coming down here, the dogs. Just a few little, a lot of times the colored pencil makes fantastic wood grain because it's rough. So it gives it a little bit more grainy look. And that's what you want. Let's put a little bit more in here. Right in here. Be darker. A little darker in here. I think that's good. And then you can just put a few specks here. Like that. And I think that's done. Don't know who to follow. Thumbs up and comment. Yes, I did. I have all kinds of pictures. Thanks, Dar. All right, I think that's it. I think the I could play with this. I could literally play with this a lot longer, but yeah, it's good for now. And I gave you, so show you the up close of the. So it was a fairly easy one to do with colored pencil. Okay. So hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a bit of a long one, but hope you'll try it. Download the Traceable and give it a try. You could change yours up, make yours red apples if you want, but it's again a learning experience, trying new things if you haven't done it before. And if it doesn't work out the first time, yeah, give it a go another time. Just try and have fun with it. It's the main thing. So let's see. There we go. This isn't the best book to show it in. But yeah, it was fun. Give it a go, and we'll see you. For those that are in the Blooming Artists, we'll see you on Sunday for a live. And Budding Artist and Up, you'll have a video coming out on Saturday. So look forward to that. And we'll see you later. I'm going to take a bit of that apple, a bite of the apple. Thanks. Thanks, Lena. All right, we'll let you guys go, and thanks for painting along. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.